When you start planning for your future, and you want to, be sure that you protect the things that you have, and your parents want to be sure to protect the things they have. So what do you do? What kind of things do you have to go through? Well, we brought in again Denny MayHone from MayHone Elder Law over in Ocean Springs. How are you? Good to see you. And we've talked before about a lot of the things that people can do that's important to them. But you hold a series of workshops that you invite people to, and basically to educate them on what's important to them, how to protect themselves. Because sometimes if you don't do certain things, if you don't make these preparations, something happens, it's going to be a mess.
Right. So what we did was we started getting a lot of phone calls with the same questions. So we developed a series of workshops to address what is important. What happens if one of us gets sick? What happens if we need long-term care? Long-term care can happen at home, in a facility, in a nursing home. So what happens when those things happen? How do we deal with the pay, the cost? It's expensive, even at home, all the way through a nursing home. It can be very expensive. So how do we do that without wiping out our life savings? And if we have a loved one or a spouse who's remaining at home, how do we still protect them and make sure that they're taken care of without impoverishing them completely?
Yeah, and that's one of the big things people are always worried about is, how can I pay for this? Will my insurance pay for it? Will Social Security pay for it, or whatever? And these are a lot of questions that I would even have, because
sure.
it does get expensive. If you have whether you have somebody coming into your home, or you go into a nursing home, assisted living facility. The prices can scare you.
Sure, and what we try to do with the workshops is answer some of these questions. Who's going to make decisions for you when you can't? We talk about powers of attorney, wills, healthcare directives. We talk about trusts. We talk about asset protection. We want to give them an idea of how to integrate the legal side of things with their financial side of things, and then their personal care needs, so that we can help protect that senior or that loved one, whether they have a disability, dementia, physical, mental, whatever the case is. Sometimes it's just they fell and need hip replacement, or they have some operation that they now need to learn how to eat again, or something like that. So what happens when those things occur? Life happens.
Yeah.
So who makes those decisions, and how do we put things in place? Ideally, we'd like to do it before the crisis happens. And so that's the point behind the workshops, is to educate people on what are some of the options out there.
And it may not always be the pertinent thing to do as far as, let's say you have an elderly couple, making one of them power of attorney over the other as well, because if something happens to both of them, what do you do? So sometimes it may be in the best interest of them to get, one of their, the children to handle that kind of thing.
Sure. What we recommend is that any time you appoint someone as an agent for you to do things or make decisions for you, that you have a backup. So if you've named a spouse, what happens if that spouse has a disability or incapacity as well? What happens if both of the couple are in a car accident? Neither one can answer for the other. So who's the alternate or backup? And so we walk through different scenarios and case studies with them at the workshops to really bring out and get them thinking about what would happen if one of them got sick, what would happen if they needed long-term care, either in home or a facility, and what are the options and available resources out there. If they are good the way they are, at least now they get some peace of mind about knowing, okay, we're kind of set, and if something happened, this is where we could turn for further answers.
Now, you know that there's some that will probably think, well, they're afraid that if something debilitating happens to them, either one of them, that the care, the nursing home or whatever, they're going to come take their property. Somebody's going to come take their property away.
Sure.
That they've had in the family for years and years and years. And I know that's going to be a big fear. Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility without any planning in place at all. But it really is dependent upon the situation, and we have several case studies at the workshops that we work through where if a spouse goes in the nursing home and the other spouse is at home, there are protections in place. If the person is single, there are things they can do to protect against that. And then we talk about, of course, the Medicaid rules and their 5-year look back. The nursing home's not coming after your home. Medicaid really doesn't want the home, but there is a law called estate recovery as part of the Medicaid program that the federal government requires they seek recovery from the expenses they've paid over your lifetime from the estate of the deceased. So we walk through that and kind of explain it to them, and I like to think in a no-nonsense way, just straight out, here are the rules. Now let's talk about how your situation can apply to those rules and some of the safe points we can put in place.
Because everybody's situation is going to be different.
Exactly.
Depending on, where they are, where they're going. And then also, one of the things that you teach is the difference between wills, trusts, living trusts, things, which is best, again, for the family.
Right, and we always ask the families, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? For a lot of people, they want to stay at home as long as possible. What they need in place is dictated by their situation. What do they have and what are they trying to do? And so with that planning, we show them how they can achieve their goals at certain times.
Now, how often do you have these workshops?
Just about every month, but they can always look at our website or call our office and we can tell them the next time. We try to go around the coast in South Mississippi. So we're not always in the same location each and every time. So we try to move around along the coast.
What are some of the areas that you have covered?
Harrison County, Jackson County, Hancock County. We sometimes go to Stone County, Pearl River County. So it is basically the lower 6 counties of the coast that we will serve. And it's really based on how often can we go there, in the venues that are available.
If a group wants you to come and speak in their area, in their town or whatever, in our viewing area, can they call you and ask you for something like that? So like in George County, we have a lot of viewers in George County, areas like that, Pearl River County, that, can they?
Absolutely. They can contact our office and we provide it as a free service, so they can contact our office and we can see, is it something that we can talk on? And if not, then we'll try to refer them to an appropriate thing. But we do go out and do public speaking. We talk to different groups, if it's a private organization, if it's a public thing. I've talked to many Rotary and Lions clubs, for example, or Civitan groups. And sometimes it's just a senior group meeting at a church and they need a speaker. So they can just contact our office and we'll see what we can work out.
And the seminars are free?
Yes.
And of course, that's always a good thing.
That's right.
And they're always full of a lot of great information. So again, you have them once a month. And if you want to find out the information of when the next one is, all you got to do is go to your website, which is you see on your screen, or call the office and find out exactly when they are. How long, what's the length of time that seminar goes on?
Usually an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on questions and interaction.
Okay, so it's not an all-day type thing.
No, it's usually in the mornings from 10 to noon. Type thing, but again, depending on the group that we're speaking with.
All right, Denny, thank you so much for some great information.
Thanks
if you want some more information about that, again, give them a call. Office is located in Ocean Springs, or you can go on their website and find out exactly when the next seminar is going to be. Make your future plans safe ones.